Hello, my name is Faith Horder. I'm with the Bureau of Education and Services for the Blind. I'm going to take a few moments to show you how to operate the APH Joy Player. Here is the top of the Joy Player. You have 5 buttons. The first button is to lower the volume on the selection being played. The second button is to back up to the previous song or story. The middle one is to start or pause the play. The fourth one is to forward to the next song or story, and the fifth one is to increase the volume. You'll notice there's a tray at the bottom. It's blue, and actually when you get this, the cartridge is not in there. These are the story or song cartridges that you can download information on. The side that has the barcode goes down, and the end that looks like a USB drive actually slides in to the Joy Player. You can hear it click when it's in place. And our kid will be bilingual. Pause. Okay, so let's take a look at the items we need in order to operate the Joy Player. On the back, you see a number of places that you can input things. The very first one is to put headphones in. Here is the little toggle switch to turn it on and off. So all the way over to the left is on, in the middle is off, and then if you're going to hook it up to a remote switch device, then you would need to push it to the right where it says SLK. Now, it is important to remember, if you're working off the battery, to turn it off when done. Otherwise, you are running the battery down even though you're not operating it. All right, then you have a place to put in sip or puff switches. If you want a single switch to increase volume, you would put the connector here. This second one over would be to do the forward. The middle one would be to do pause and play. The fourth is for reverse, and the fifth is to put the volume down. So pretty much these places are to put switches in to have the operations that are available on the top be available to the student with the use of a separate switch. All right, here's where we would plug in the power if the batteries need to be charged, or if for some reason you don't have the batteries in there. Here's a place that you can plug in a USB port with stories and things in it. And here is where an SD card could be placed. Now on the bottom, I did want to point out that there is a place, you'll see these little holes on the side. That's so that you can take the Velcro strap that comes with the Joy Player and run it through the bottom and hook it to either a ledge like this computer desk ledge or the wheelchair tray, depending on which you have, so that the student doesn't accidentally knock the Joy Player onto the floor. Okay, we've talked about these cartridges, so your next question may be, how do I get the stories or music onto the cartridge? Well, it actually is pretty simple. There's a connector that comes with the player, and you simply plug it into your computer in a USB port, and the other side gets plugged into the cartridge like this. Now on the computer, it shows up as a regular USB drive. You can see it here, and on my computer it's USB drive F. And you would simply just drag and drop any of the stories that you want onto the drive. I'll give you a demonstration of that next. So here I've highlighted an album that I want to add to my USB drive for the Joy Player, or the little book cards. So I highlight it and I drag it over to USB, and it's added. You can see that it's copying. When you're done downloading and you want to eject the drive, make sure that you come down and say safely eject. Okay. Eject talking book before pulling it out. And then my computer gives me a little notice that it's ready to take out. Okay, we've talked about these cartridges, so your next question may be, how do I get the stories or music onto the cartridge? Well, it actually is pretty simple. There's a connector that comes with the player, and you simply plug it into your computer in a USB port, and the other side gets plugged into the cartridge like this. A final note about the actual makeup of the Joy Player. Each of the buttons on the top have a cap around the outside to protect the internal part of the player from, say, food, dust, liquid. So these caps, however, can be rotated and lifted off so that you can put the actual button cap on. Again, you just have to line up the slots and then turn it. Now, the reason you might want to cover the buttons is because you might be just working on one function at a time. Let's say start and stop. So you can have covers on all the other buttons. It doesn't work when you press it. And this way, you're practicing with the student on starting and stopping the player. Then as they develop proficiency, you may want to give them control over some of the other buttons and then just uncover them as you're ready for it.